My name is Washik, and I'm a lecturer in law at Independent University, Bangladesh. Uh, and Today, I would like to see tourism from the lens of human rights. The area is in Chittagong. It's a hilly area. We call the Chittagong Hill Tracts. It's in the southeast Bangladesh border, nearing Myanmar and India. The area is a mountainous rock terrain with deep forest, lakes, and falls, gives it a different character from the rest of Bangladesh. Due to its remote location, rock terrain, and lack of infrastructure, this is one of the poorest regions in Bangladesh. The region has unique ethnic and cultural diversity from rest of the country and home to 11 tribal groups. The region offers distinctive combination of socioeconomic and environmental characteristics, offering tremendous potential for tourism development. The area's rock terrain and scattered settlements reflect its socio-political history, a legacy of colonialism, historical injustices, underdevelopment, armed conflict, and socio-economic exclusion. The region's social accessibility barriers, stemming from its status as a border region, insurgency, conflicts between tribal community and Bengali population, and various forms of communal unrest, collectively hinder accessibility and openness to tourism. In this backdrop, my research was aimed to explore how a human rights-based approach can serve as a transformative lens for proper mountain tourism development in Chittagong Hill Tracts. Through an analysis of its socio-economic conditions, legal institutional frameworks, and tourism dynamics, this chapter advocates for integrating human rights into tourism planning. Theoretical background. In this chapter, I thought about integrating human rights into development perspective. Though a comprehensive sector-wide application of human rights-based approach in tourism remained unutilized, a good number of countries have already incorporated these principles into their tourism policies and practices. This is a conceptual framework for human development fused with international human rights standards, aiming to champion and safeguard those rights by linking their normative basis to feasible implementation. Human rights-based approach involves core principles including accountability, rule of law, participation and inclusion, and equality and non-discrimination. Historical background of Chittagong Hill Tracts. Chittagong Hill Tracts regulation provided a special protection for tribal population and their land rights. However, political and social upheavals following their partition of India in 1947 and the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971 raised tensions, leading to insurgency, militarization, and displacement. Prolonged conflict has marginalized the region from mainstream development, leaving most of its population living below the poverty line. In 1997, Chittagong Peace Accord brought relative stability in the region, but failed to fully address socioeconomic and political grievances. As a result of occasional tensions persist in the region. Socio-economic and legal vulnerabilities of the region. The colonial period and subsequent governmental policies, including the construction of the Kaptai Dam in the 1960s, have resulted in large-scale displacement and loss of tribal lands. Post-independence settlements of policies fueled these tensions, with the influx of Bengali settlers leading to demographic shifts and land disputes. Communal land ownership among tribal groups has further complicated formal recognition of land rights, particularly for tribal women. Constitutional provisions such as Article 23A aim to protect the tribal culture and traditions but lack judicial enforceability. The 1997 Peace Accord introduced institutional mechanisms like CST Regional Council and Land Commission, but faces challenges in implementation. The national tourism policy inadequately addressed the unique potential and challenges of the region. The peace accord lacked constitutional backing, coupled with lack of political will, hindered its effectiveness. Only 48 of the accord's 72 objectives had been implemented. Additionally, bureaucratic hurdles and security concerns restrict foreign tourism, undermining opportunities for economic growth. So now I would like to see what legal and institutional framework we have to address those issues and still what's missing here. Historical displacement and land ownership challenges rooted in colonial policies exacerbated by subsequent government actions remained unresolved in this region. Prolonged conflict has led to human rights violation and socio-economic marginalization. The slow implementation of the peace accord adds to these challenges. The historical framework of the peace accord and exclusion of traditional power structure actually limit its efficacy now in the administrative system. Bureaucratic hurdles and stringent security protocols restrict foreign tourism. Actually, a foreigner, before going to the region, has to take permission from the administration. Being the only mountainous region of Bangladesh, this is very tourist demanding spot. People like to go there throughout the year, but very often government actually restrict people from going there due to security reasons. Unregulated tourism undermines cultural and environmental integrity and alienates tribal communities from their heritage. The lack of constitutional protection for the peace accord and minimal recognition of the tribal rights hinder substantial development. In this backdrop, a reimagined development paradigm shift must go beyond poverty alleviation, addressing deeper social injustice and promoting a symbiotic relationship between tourism, culture, and the environment. Previously, all the development policies we had in this region was top-down approach. So the decision was made in Dhaka in the decision center, and those were implemented without consulting with the stakeholders. Integrating a human rights-based approach in the proper mountain tourism can serve as a tool for poverty reduction and if it's inclusive and respect human rights. A human rights-based approach ensures participation, accountability, empowerment, addressing the root causes of marginalization. For the Chittagong Hill Tracts, this approach must prioritize cultural sensitivity, since there is a long-standing conflict between the tribal people and Bengali settlers. Integrating local traditions and practices into the tourism planning is essential. Sustainable development, balancing economic growth with environmental and cultural preservation, and ensure tribal communities benefit equitably from tourism, such as framework can bring gaps in existence development policies, fostering trust, resilience among local populations. In conclusion, I would like to say the Chittagong Hill Tracts illustrate how historical injustices, socioeconomic challenges, and unplanned tourism intersect to perpetuate marginalization. This research underscores the transformative potential of a human rights-based approach, emphasizing justice, inclusivity, and sustainability. A couple of weeks ago, I visited this region. I was staying on a tourist spot, and I found a graffiti written on the wall, and it says "Pahareo Shudin Ajbe," means good times will come to the hills as well. I think for the stakeholders, they should develop inclusive policies that address historical injustices and intersectional needs. They should invest in education and awareness to promote responsible tourism, and they should enhance local governance and ensure fair profit sharing with tribal communities. By aligning tourism development with human rights principles, policymakers can create a model that empowers marginalized communities while preserving the region's unique culture and environmental heritage. Thank you.